Hey guys, it's Lindsay. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be doing another update for my Pan That Palette series. And if you saw the thumbnail, yes, I am going to be adding in a new palette, but don't worry, I'm still working on my Urban Decay Ammo palette for the year. So let me go ahead and show you what this looked like the last time I did an update, and then I'll show you what it looks like now. And here is what my palette currently looks like. So there have been a few changes since the last update, but nothing major. So I'm just going to go ahead and go down the line here, starting with the shade Smog. My goal with this shadow as of the last update was to hit the side of the pan, and I managed to do that, which was really exciting. I feel like this shadow is just kind of going nowhere, so I was really pleasantly surprised when I hit pan, or when I hit the side of the pan on it the other week. I'm still not sure that I'm going to actually finish this shade by the end of the year. There's still so much in there, which is really surprising to me. I think I'm going to go ahead and repress that shade for like the 5th time, I think, just to try and help it move along a little bit faster. But I'm really happy that I hit my goal on that shadow, but next time you see it, it'll probably look a little bit different since I'm going to go ahead and repress it. Then moving on down here to the green called Mildew. I actually used that quite a bit in the last month, which was fun. I really like this shade. I think it's so pretty. I have not hit pan on it yet, but there is a big dip in there. So going forward, going into the next update, I would like to have pan showing on that one. And then now moving on to black, the oil slick color. I've decided that I am done with that shade, and I will show you here in a few minutes what I've replaced that shade with. But my goal since the beginning of the year with that shade was just to hit pan, and I did that, so I'm totally fine abandoning this shade and moving on to something different. So you might see a little bit of change because I didn't decide to stop using it until just a couple weeks ago, but nothing major. The shade is just so densely packed that it just took forever to even hit pan on it, so you won't really see any changes, I don't think, since the last update. And then these two here, if you remember from the last update, I combined and put them in this pan here. This is Last Call and Chopper. And I've used quite a bit of this kind of hybrid Franken shade here, which is awesome. My goal was to use about half of that shade that I had in there, and I'm pretty sure I used more than half, which is awesome. So going forward into the next update, whenever I get that up in about a month or so, my goal would definitely be to completely finish that shade, and then I'm going to be pretty much done, I think, with Last Call and Chopper. Definitely Chopper for sure. I don't think I will ever use again, which is so sad because I used to love that shade. I had a single of it years and years ago, and it was one of my all-time favorite shades. But this one, I don't know if it's just because it's old or if this is just a different formulation than the one that I had. It just doesn't work very well. I just don't like it. So we are almost to the end of that shade, which I'm really excited about. Grifter, the purple here, I haven't used, I don't think, at all. Same thing with Shattered. I haven't used that, and I haven't used Maui Wowie either. So I think that's pretty much the update on this palette. Just to recap really quick, Smog I'm going to repress so it will look different the next time you see it. I definitely don't see myself finishing that shade off in the next month. Mildew, I would like to have some pan showing on there. And then this hybrid shade that I have between Last Call and Chopper, I would like to completely finish. Now moving on to the shades I'm working on in my Z palette. And let me first show you what they looked like last month, and then I will go over what they look like now. So here is what my Z palette looks like now, and if you remember, I was working on these two shades, and then last month I added in this one as well. So I'm so excited that the two shades that I've been working on forever in this palette are completely finished up. My little Makeup Forever shade here, what was this, M530 I think, that one is completely done. I hated this shade. I just thought it was so hard to work with. And then this shade here was from my Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. Salted Caramel maybe? I can never remember. But I was able to finish off both of those shades pretty early on in the month, right after I finished, or right after I did the last update. So then I was going back and forth between what kind of like all over setting shade I wanted to use. And I had added this in to be more of just like an inner corner and a brow bone highlight. And I've just decided to go ahead and use that as my all over setting shade. And I've done that quite a few times. And this one is more of like a satiny finish. It's got a little bit of sparkle in it, but it's not too much. So I've been using it as my highlight and my all over setting shade, and it's worked perfectly fine. And just to remind you, this is a Smashbox eyeshadow from one of the On the Rocks palettes from a few years ago. I really like that shade, so I'm happy to use it. And this one is pretty soft, so I don't think this one will stick around too long. As long as I continue to use it, I think that one will be gone by the end of the year. And now moving on to the new palette that I'm going to be adding in, and this is a huge palette. Don't worry, I'm not adding in all of these shades, just 2 of them really. Well, one of them I'm kind of already taken out of the palette, or I've kind of already taken out of the project, which I'll get to. But this is my Tarte Bon Voyage palette from Christmas a few years ago. You can see I do have quite a bit of pan showing on this palette. I've completely used up this shade up here. And for a transition shade, I thought I would focus on this color right here. This one is called Merci You Later, which I think is super cute. But I really, really like this eyeshadow, and I actually think it's a perfect contour shade as well. I've been using this as my crease shade and as my contour quite a bit lately, and I think it just works perfectly. So I really like that shade, and I did just recently, within the last couple of days, hit the side of the pan there, which is awesome. There was quite a bit of pan already showing when I decided to go ahead and, you know, really focus on this shadow to use it up by the end of the year. So I wasn't starting from scratch or anything, but there is a lot of pan. I think I'll be able to use that up by the end of the year since there really isn't too much. I think this is another one that I'm going to try and repress. I did repress this one, I remember at one point, and it kind of made like this weird like orangey color. Like I think it reacted weirdly to the like the metal part on the palette here. So I'm going to scrape that all out and do it in a little bowl and then put it in, and hope that weird reaction doesn't happen, because I know some of that got on the actual eyeshadow as well. So hopefully if I completely take it out and repress it that way, that won't happen. And then to replace the black that I was using in my Urban Decay palette, I was starting to work on this one here, and this one is called On a Good Notre Dame. As you can see there, I think that's kind of in focus. I did hit pan on that recently. There was quite a big dip in that shade already, but I hadn't hit pan till a few days ago. And I don't like this shade. It transferred, I don't know, since I'm wearing my glasses today, I don't know that you'll really be able to see it, but it transferred quite heavily onto my brow bone there. I had set my eyeshadow with this black shade, which is how I've been using it. And this isn't the first time that it did it. And it did it like just as soon as I applied that eyeshadow, and I applied it like I always do. So I might be done with it. I think I'm going to use it like 1 or 2 more times. And if it transfers really horribly to my upper lid, then I'm just going to be done with it. But if today for whatever reason was a fluke, I know it looks really bad, and I tried to fix it, and I think it's actually worse now than it was a couple hours ago when I did my makeup. So we're going to try it a couple more times, and if it doesn't work, then I'm just going to go ahead and call it quits on that shade and then just focus on this one in the palette. So that's everything for my Pan That Palette update today. Thank you so much for watching. I'd really love it if you would subscribe to my channel. And if you like Pan That Palette videos, please go ahead and give this one a thumbs up. It really helps out my channel. We can also connect on Instagram. I will have that linked down in the description box below. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!